Welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming here today. I hope you had a very nice lunch break. Welcome to the afternoon section on the first day of the XMPP conference. Ha ha ha, Joe, no. Of course, the Matrix conference. Let's start the afternoon with Robert Gerbauld coming to talk about NeoBoard. Thank you. A big round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you, Milton. Hello, welcome for those who are just arriving now after lunchtime to the Matrix conference. My name is Robert Gerbauld. I work for Nordeck IT in Hamburg, Germany. At Nordeck IT, we are specialized in the designing and conception of Matrix-based clients. My role there is to be a product owner for various major Matrix products, and one of them is the NeoBoard S, which is a Matrix client, and I'm a product owner for the NeoBoard. So why are we here today? We're here today because we want to share with the Matrix community the significant progress we have been making with the NeoBoard S over the past year. So as contributors to the Matrix community, we have been investing a lot of effort and time in improving and enhancing the NeoBoard. And probably I got actually a question about this a few moments ago for those who were here last year. We talked about our NeoToolSuite, which is our productivity suite embedded element, matrix-based. But this year we decided to focus only on the NeoBoard to show the progress we have been making. And for those who never heard about the NeoBoard S before, S stands for Standalone, which means that it is a dedicated module running as an online service independently from Element. So it is, in fact, a non-chat Matrix client, but as any other Matrix client, you use events to replicate data between different members participating on the board. And in this sense, you also, in a NeoBoard context, use then Matrix rooms, and in our case, boards or boards rooms, to as data containers so that participants can collaborate, sharing content through customized message, message events, and also we use state events for saving board configuration, and we use timeline events to persist board content once it is built into the board. So it is open source. It's going to be published under GPL. And the first major announcement they want to do this year is to say that the NeoBoard S or Standalone was selected to be the next dedicated module to be part of the OpenDesk. So I'm sure that a lot of you heard about OpenDesk before. OpenDesk, for those who never heard about it, is an open source configurable workspace platform that is there with the goal of enhancing collaboration between teams working in distributed environments in a secure and private way. So if you want to learn more about OpenDesk, just go to our website where you can find about the modules. So again, the NeoBoard is going to be the next module now to be implemented here. You can also talk to me after the conference and can provide you a demo account. But you can also go tomorrow, Saturday, at Alexander's presentation at 2 p.m. He's going to talk about OpenDesk. So what have we been doing regarding features? So we have been working in a few features that I'd like to share with you this year. The first of them is our improvements in terms of dashboard and tile views and list views. So I'm jumping back here to the dashboard. So what you're seeing right now is our dashboard displayed in tiles. So what you have here is each board is one tile, and on the top of each tile you see a preview of the board in which you are currently working on. And underneath is the board name and the last time the board was opened or added. And of course, you can rename or delete the board. Another possibility, if tile views is not for you, you can jump to the list view. The list view have pretty much the same functionalities, but also functionality that shows when the board was created. And you can, of course, both in tile and list view, sort the boards by alphabetically or data created, and currently sorted by the board which was last open. Right. Let me just jump back here to the board. And So another major change that we had in comparison to next year was the change of navigation. So the NeoBoard was first conceived to work in slide-based navigation, but after carefully accessing the requirements of our customers in the public sector, we decided to change the navigation to infinite canvas one. So what we can do now is pan around and zoom around the board and zoom between content placed in different zoom levels. That's pretty much like any infinite canvas works. We also include possibility to share the board and being invited to the board. So you can just invite people here to the board and click invite. And if you get an invitation, you're going to be notices here by this bell notice. You can also switch language. What we also introduced is the concept of frames, because now since we migrated to infinite canvas navigation, it makes sense to have frames so you can actually better structure your content and organize it in a way that also give the content a hierarchy, in a way that you can better navigate the content and organize it. And of course, another advantage of the frames, as you know, is to provide a grouping of information in a way that it's better to identify connections and relationships between content. The arrows, we had arrows before, but we introduced the improvement of docking arrows into shapes. So when I have an arrow and I'm approaching the shape, so as you can see, the docking points just pop up. And if I let the arrow go, then it automatically docks into the point and centralizes in the way that we pretty much, in this sense, provided the very first step of creating process and process tools into the board. You can also toggle the arrowhead or include change color and include a second head into the arrow. Sticky notes, you can now leave message, notes or information to people working, collaborating with you on the board, and PDF upload. So PDF upload, I just mentioned it again, we had this last year, but considering that we changed the logic of the navigation from slide-based into infinite canvas-based, we have to rethink the PDF upload logic, so we invest time on that. Someone join me here on the board from my team. Right. So here nice gifts for you, just because you're such a good audience. Right. So I want to talk a little bit more today about also non-functional features. We are only developing functional, but also non-functional ones. And in fact, the majority of our effort last year was in non-functional features because, the essence of the whiteboard, the concept why we're doing this is because we want to really improve the real-time collaboration of whiteboards users, especially those who are involved in the matrix context. And then we had to decided that we had to scale up the board to make it available for multiple or hundreds of users to use it. So essentially, just to give a short reminder, feedback about how is the infrastructure working. So the NeoBoard has a matrix backend, which is it can run any existing typical element backend, and it can be combined with any service available in the matrix spec. For example, the service application API. It conforms with the Deutsche Verwaltungscloud-Strategie or the German cloud management strategy. I just mentioned this to say that it runs in Kubernetes, and most importantly, it can be deployed independently or self-hosted. So what do I mean by that? Is if you take a look here, the components that we have on the whiteboard, NeoBoard we are currently running it under a matrix authentication service. I hope this is big enough for everyone. And the Synapse and their respective database. And now we have the LiveKit JWT we're gonna mention in a moment. And the NeoBoard just actually take advantage of these components to be able to run. And if you check how the element call is doing, so the element call is doing pretty much the same. So if you have an infrastructure element call in place, you can just plug in the NeoBoard and use it. So you can use it already in existing infrastructure if you have one, or you can deploy this independently, these components, and run it yourself. So how did we scale up? So we had so far, so we decided to migrate from a WebRTC peer-to-peer implementation of the whiteboard into Matrix RTC with LiveKit components. So this shift was what allows us to scale up the number of users for hundreds of users with matrix RTC and LiveKit combined. After talking with the element call team, so element call states that, and we use the same components, that they support around 150 users. So this is what we expect now the whiteboard is currently supporting or more, because we don't have video conferencing. So there are various possibilities of interoperability with the whiteboard. It doesn't need any configuration. It doesn't need any extra configuration or module or fork. It works with any element, laptop or web. And I want to show you how it works in sync with the element. So as you can see here on your left side, I have the online, the NeoBoard Standalone as an online service, and here I have the same NeoBoard open in Element widget. So if you can see already in the Element widget, I can see my cursor running and moving in the online version. And if I start editing here, and then you start having seeing that the sync between Element as a NeoBoard as Element widget and the NeoBoard as an online service works in sync. Right, let me just delete this. I hope I'm good in time. So we have our own React SDK components, which can be easily used to implement external applications into the NeoBoard. We, of course, leverage the App Service API and bridges from Matrix to integrate the NeoBoard into external systems. And we have our own JSON-based open file format, which is called .nvb, which can easily consumed also by external applications. One more thing that I want to show you about interoperability is the AI integration. And to show that, I will switch here to one of our dev environments and to already show to you that this is really, really raw proof of concept. We're just actually starting to think about how an AI module can be integrated into a whiteboard concept. So please, this is really in a very initial phase. There's still a lot of product discussion to be conducted here, and a lot of thinking to be invested here. And but I would like to share with the Matrix community today. Please bear in mind that I'm not trying to say here how a Matrix ecosystem can leverage the advantage of having an AI module, but much more how whiteboard consumers can leverage the possibility of having an AI module to enhance that whiteboard experience. So what we did here is that we decided to think about how can we use a whiteboard to prompt or to generate information for a user. So what we have is we decided to link the module with the actual shapes that we have already on the board. So what we're doing here, we are sequencing information in a flow through our shapes and our elements that we have in the board to generate a third element or a third information. So here's a very simple example how a text generation can be created. So I included 2 sticky notes, and I ask a question, and I included information. And through the arrows that I have available in the toolbar, I connect them to a third sticky notes and ask the AI model to generate information about it. So this is the text approach for it. You can also use it on an image approach. So I created 3 informations about the Matrix conference this year, and I asked the AI module to then generate an image for me based on these 3 informations. So again, this is very initial phase. That's why I'm showing you in a dev environment. I hope next year we can actually show more about which direction this journey is taking us. But this is what we think now could be one relevant or one significant approach that we can take in terms of offering an AI tool to improve whiteboard consumers' experience. So the whiteboard is secure because as it runs in a matrix and a matrix component, you can federate it. If you have a network of synapse, you can just federate it and have it sovereign. And as mentioned, you can also self-host it. So what we're also doing is following the BSI IT Grundschutz norms, which is the German IT security standards coming from the German government. And we're also following the WCHD 2.1a level of accessibility for this board. So what's coming next? What's coming next is the presentation mode. So we had, I show you the frames. So what we're going to do now is to take the frames and place it in a way that you can use it for presentations. Object rotation, we already have next in our pipeline to include the object rotation as a feature here. Block arrows and further shapes. More arrow features. So we had, for example, just now the linear arrow docking to the object, but we want to have also curve and square-shaped arrows. User management, we are introducing our rights and roles concept and want to introduce a guest invitation into the whiteboard, and also roles like moderator and admins. Keyboard shortcuts to improve the accessibility, and also controlling the board through the keyboard, and bullet points. We have already some text elements in place and text features in place, but we want to improve it with bullet points and related features. So why you should go through the NeoBoard Standalone? So it's very easy to use and fun to use. And for proving that, I brought an example for you here underneath. So what we have here is an exercise that we did with 15 people from the German public sector. So what we did was we asked them to go through this list here and see the features that we are suggesting and vote for the next feature they want to have. So the 50 people had never used the NeoBoard before. And so we asked him to, oh, this is my colleague here accessing us through from Hamburg. Hi, Bjorn, probably he's seen us. I asked these 15 people to select here one of these rectangles here, insert their names, and each one had 100 points. And I asked them to go through the list again and place the number of points they would like to see on each feature regarding the feature that were more relevant to them. So 1 point or 100 points, whatever, whichever way they wanted. And in the end, we had 2 features that were winners, process tools and objects positioning and dimensioning, which then is part of our roadmap also to be implemented next. And I also gave them the opportunity of putting him in the wishing list other features that they didn't see in this list, but that they also want to have. So we did this from zero with very little explanation. We just pushed them this exercise, and they were able to complete it. So this is why I'm saying that the NeoBoard is very easy to use. So collaboration at scale with Matrix ITC, RTC, and LiveKit. You can now keep scaling up if your company needs that. It is secure because it's Matrix and it's self-hosted with all the Matrix elements that Matrix has to offer. It is a Matrix client. And therefore, you can interoperate with other systems. You can federate. It is AGPL, so it's open source. And it was originally designed to satisfy the German and French public sector's requirements. So this may also be relevant depending on which sectors you're working for. And it's customizable. So it's customizable in a way that we are going to, for example, change the look now for OpenDesk. OpenDesk has certain requirements about the look, and we're going to change it so in a way that it's very easy to customize according to your requirements. So this is actually pretty much what I wanted to show you about our improvements that we have been doing on the NeoBoard this year. I hope you could enjoy it, and contact me if you need any more information, and I'm happy to answer any question if you have any.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so does anybody have questions for Robert? Here's a question.
Hi. So it's very cool to see Matrix being used for something other than chat.
Yeah.
And if I understood your diagram correctly, it's the only backend that you have on the system. So I'm interested if you've run into times when it hasn't quite served you as much as you needed, or you've been feeling like you needed something else beside it. Have you run into that?
No, we never. At the moment, it never heard to any use case that we had to change the infrastructure for any reason. But we are focusing at the beginning. The design of the NeoBoard was focusing on the German and the French now public sector, and we are going to OpenDesk. OpenDesk has already element in place, so we can leverage this infrastructure. But I never run at the moment into a use case of someone who wants a Matrix client but doesn't want the Matrix infrastructure. But but I think it's possible to have another infrastructure because it's Matrix. But do you have a use case like that? I mean,
I was thinking more like you wanted to implement a feature, and then you're like, oh, there's the nature of matrix doesn't necessarily support the requirements that we would have for this feature if you run into something like that.
Yeah. So I never run to something like that at the moment, but a good question. I can think about it. What happens if if this use case comes to us? So what we're going to do? So, but at the moment we never had this. No.
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Oh, another question here.
Hi, Robert. Thanks for the great talk. Really interesting. I'll echo his comments. Really interesting to see something like this use case for Matrix. I had a question. You mentioned, maybe it's a little bit premature, you mentioned a presentation tool upcoming.
Yeah.
So how will that work with something like Matrix, where I guess most of your content here is static, like once you add it to the timeline, it's just there, right, as an event. How would something like animations work in a presentation tool?
Okay, so now you're asking a product question. I'm a product owner. I still have to elaborate this. Maybe I'll say keep in tune for next year. Yes, but we are definitely want to insert in presentation mode in a way that first it's going to be on stages, of course. Like you have to first have the presentation per se, like the possibility of linking the frames in a sequencing way and starting the presentation from the beginning to the end. So this is actually pretty much the very next step of it. And of course, the features of the presentation are going to come like step by step. So if you have a concrete use case also that you need animations, that's also good for me to hear.
Nothing specific. I'm just interested as someone who spends far too much time on PowerPoint and the Google Docs alternatives, right? I'm tired of those and would love to support an open source alternative. So
yeah, so we already support GIFs, for example, and okay, Milton.
So disclosure, I work for Nordeck as well and on the NeoBoard as an engineer. So this is an SVG which supports animations. We have been thinking of adding some form of scripting. So we could add to our data model JavaScript scripts that would animate or just do stuff with the SVG data. So sure, in the roadmap, we don't know when, but it's possible and we've thought about it.
By animations, I mean transformations of objects in the NeoBoard. Oh, yeah, sorry. I don't want to take up more time if it's too much. By animations, I meant like transformations of objects that's already on the NeoBoard, not like an animated GIF or something like that. So like, taking a text label and changing it or, moving things around within a frame, something like that.
Yeah, do you want to say something?
As I've said, this is SVG, so we can apply transforms to elements. So we could rotate shapes, do transitions, fade things. So yeah, certainly technically possible.
Yeah, so technically possible. And from the product perspective, I don't think I have this in mind right now. I have other priorities at the moment for the roadmap. But yeah, it's actually probably we will move there sometime towards this direction.
I think we have time for one more question. No, let me just check the room. Okay, Bjorn says hello. If no further questions, thank you again, and another round of applause for Robert.
Thank you.